Hello and welcome to Talent Sprint. In this session, we are going to discuss the Council of Ministers. This is another type of union executive. Okay, so article number 74. The Council of Ministers to aid and advise the President. The Council of Ministers are headed by the Prime Minister and they shall aid and advise the President in every matter of the President. The Council of Ministers is a group which is headed by the Prime Minister of India. So this group shall aid and advise the President in every matter. So that means President, whatever he wants to do, he has to consult the Council of Ministers who are headed by the Prime Minister. Whatever he wants to do, the Council of Ministers has to aid and advise the President. And there is a condition for it. What is that? The Council of Ministers advice can be resent for reconsideration by the President. He can send it back for the reconsideration. But if they reconsider it and send it back, it is binding on the President to take this advice for the second time. That means he can send the advice only for once. Okay, he cannot send for the second time. If they send it back for the second time, he has to accept that advice. It may be of anything, but he must be accepting that advice. This is article number 74. Moving on to the next article, article number 75. Other provisions to as to ministers. So what are the other provisions available? The Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President, and the Council of Ministers are also appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. They are appointed by the President only, but on the advice of Prime Minister. We know he will choose his ministers or not. Okay, so he will advise whom to appoint. Okay, the next clause is the total number of Council of Ministers shall not exceed 15% of the strength of House of People, that is Lok Sabha. So our Lok Sabha strength is 545. Okay, 15% of 545 is around 80 people. That means total strength of Lok Sabha must not exceed 80 members. Okay, this was added through 91st Amendment 2003. Okay, this provision was added through 91st Amendment 2003. The total strength should not exceed 15% of the Lok Sabha strength. Moving on to the next clause, that is, the ministers shall hold office during the pleasure of President. Actually, it is the Prime Minister, but as the President has appointed them, they will hold office till the pleasure of President. Okay, suppose if they have violated the Constitution, the Prime Minister will ask the Council of Ministers to resign before the President makes him removed. Okay, that is a general case going on, but the actual constitutional terms, they will hold office till the pleasure of President only. Next is the Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the House of People, that is Lok Sabha. Why they are collectively responsible? Suppose if any minister has taken a decision, so all the ministers should be bounded by it. They should not say I did not take. They are a group of ministers. Okay, they are collectively responsible to Lok Sabha only, not Rajya Sabha, because Lok Sabha members are directly elected by the people. So they are collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. That means we can ask questions in the Lok Sabha to the Council of Ministers. They are bound to give answers for their actions. That is the collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers to the Lok Sabha. Next is the next clause. Before a minister enters upon his office, the oath to them is administered as per the third schedule. Okay, we have learnt about the third schedule. All the oaths to the members mentioned in that is prescribed in third schedule. Okay, so oaths to the ministers is mentioned in the third schedule of Indian Constitution. Next is clause number 5. Suppose if a minister becomes a member of any house, okay, that is not a problem. But he becomes a minister without becoming a member of any house. Suppose he must become a member within 6 months from the date of appointment. Suppose he has not become a member, but he is appointed as minister. So he must become a member within 6 months from the date of appointment as ministers, or else his minister post will be lost. Okay. So he must become a member of any house, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, within 6 months from the date of appointment. So this was added through 91st Amendment 2003. Okay, through 91st Amendment, the first is 15% of strength of Lok Sabha, total strength of Council of Ministers. Next is, if a minister is not a member of any house, he must become a member within 6 months from the date of appointment, or else he will lose his minister post. This was added through 91st Amendment 2003. The last clause in the article number 75 is, the salaries and allowances to the ministers are mentioned in second schedule. We have already seen the 12 schedules. Okay, oaths are mentioned in third schedule and salaries and allowances are mentioned in second schedule. So this is about 6 clauses in article number 75. Moving on to the next one, duties of the Prime Minister. Okay, to furnish information. So what are the duties of the Prime Minister? We shall see. So it shall be the duty of the Prime Minister to communicate to the President regarding everything about the government of India. Okay, whatever laws they want to make it, whatever any bills they want to adopt in the Parliament, any decisions of the government of India, everything has to be communicated to the President of India by the Prime Minister. Okay, moving on to the next duty. So it shall be the duty of Prime Minister. Suppose sometimes the Prime Minister may forget. So the President may call for such information if he wants to do so. The Prime Minister may go to the President may go to the Prime Minister and ask the information about the union government. What are the laws it wants to make, all those things. And the next duty of the Prime Minister is, suppose if the Council of Ministers have not taken a decision, but a minister has taken a decision on any matter. So the President may call for the decision of the Council of Ministers to adopt that decision which was not taken by them, but the minister has adopted it. In simple words, okay, these are complicated words. In simple words, suppose a minister has taken a decision, but the Council of Ministers have not taken the decision. So President may ask for them to consider this decision which was taken by the minister. Okay, so this is the 3 duties of the Prime Minister under article number 78. Okay, moving on to the next one. So what do you mean by Council of Ministers? What do you mean by Cabinet Ministers? We hear generally in news, Cabinet Ministers and Council of Ministers. We shall see the difference between Council of Ministers and Cabinet Minister. Okay, so these are the differences. Council of Ministers we have already seen. The strength of them should not exceed 15% of Lok Sabha. So generally they consist of 70 to 80 members. But Cabinet Ministers will be generally very less, that is 15 to 20 members. That means very important portfolios like External Affairs, Home Ministry, Defense Ministry, all these people will sit in the Cabinet. Okay. Next is, the Council of Ministers includes the Cabinet Ministers, okay, the Ministers of the States and Deputy Ministers. Who are Ministers of State? They will assist the Cabinet Ministers, and Deputy Ministers will assist the Ministers of State. Okay, and what does the Cabinet Ministers include? They include only Cabinet Ministers. Okay, they form part of Council of Ministers, entire Council of Ministers. Okay, the next is, though they are headed by the Prime Minister, the Council of Ministers, they don't meet as a single body generally. But the cabinet ministers, they are also headed by the prime minister, but they meet as a single body. We hear in news, right? The union cabinet has approved something. So that is a meeting of the cabinet. So council of ministers will not meet as a single group, but cabinet will meet as a single group. Moving on to the next one, that is cabinet committees. Okay. So generally the cabinet committees are headed by the prime minister, or important ministries like finance minister or external affairs minister or home minister, like that. Suppose if prime minister is member of it, he will be the obviously the head of the cabinet committee. Okay. Moving on to the next one about cabinet committees. Cabinet committees are also extra constitutional in nature. That means they are not mentioned in the constitution, but they are mentioned in the rules of business of the parliament. Okay. Next is, there are two types of cabinet committees. The first is standing committees and next is ad hoc committees. Standing committees are permanent in nature and ad hoc committees are temporary in nature. They are constituted temporarily and removed. But standing committees are permanent in nature. Next, as of 2013, 10 cabinet committees are functional. The important of them are, the first is Cabinet Committee on Political Affairs. Next is Appointments Committee of the Cabinet. Next is Cabinet Committee on Security. Next is Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. These are the 4 important ones among the 10 which are functional. Okay, so cabinet committees mostly they are headed by the prime minister, or else the finance minister or external affairs minister or defense ministers, the important portfolios will be heading those. If prime minister is member of it, obviously the prime minister will head these cabinet committees. So each cabinet committee has different purpose or function. Political affairs will deal with political affairs, security will deal with security, economic affairs will deal with economic matters. Okay, committee will go through appointments of various posts in India. Okay, so this is all for this session. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you so much.